Declan Rice story's a bit worn now. It's very seldom that it gets injected with any sort of new information. It's basically the normal sort of regurgitated stuff. But I did feel that happened yesterday. I felt yesterday there was a twist, a little twist and a turn in the story of Declan Rice's transfer away from West Ham. It still makes me laugh sometimes when I click onto various websites and particularly generic sort of Premier League ones and. So West Ham bracing themselves for the loss of Declan Rice. Do you think Declan Rice will leave West Ham? You know, well, Declan Rice may well be on his way out of West Ham. You think, okay, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We know that's going to happen. But it's when there's a little bit more meat on the bone. And we know a lot of the leaks from West Ham stuff obviously come from West Ham themselves, you know, board sources, associated agents, stuff like that. In terms of Declan Rice, there's stuff that sometimes comes out from Declan Rice's side. He got good journalistic contacts. I think it's Matt Law as good contacts with the Declan Rice side of things. So, you know, when there's information sometimes comes out, which is Declan Rice lets it be known by his chosen sources he's not going to sign a new deal at West Ham. And then the West Ham board's David Sullivan's chosen sources will also confirm that and say, oh, look, Declan Rice won't sign a new contract. It becomes quite obvious where that the information is true because you're getting it from both sources. However, the most recent rumour has been, and this was a day or two ago, that Arsenal had opened the bidding for Declan Rice and it had been 70 million. This has annoyed me. And I'll tell you why it's annoyed me. The timing of it has annoyed me massively. I can only think this is a strategic manoeuvre and I hate it. I very, very rarely get agitated or get annoyed. I think with football in general, unless West Ham have just lost and in the moment, something can agitate me. By and large, I tend not to let football eat away at me too much. But this really annoyed me very much. I'm very much agitated by what's happened with this perceived Arsenal bid. Okay, so firstly, the news has not come from West Ham. West Ham have not leaked the news at all. The news has come from the Arsenal camp. It has come from the Arsenal side of things, basically. And it's a pretty poor show. I mean, it really is, I think, a poor show. They can bid for Declan Rice anytime they want. Make no mistake about it at all. However, when they choose to release the information to their chosen sources is... Well, there's only one reason that you release information, right? If we assume that Arsenal have the money to buy Declan Rice, if we assume that Arsenal have already spoken with Declan Rice, we've already heard that Declan Rice had a chat with Arteta, if we assume that maybe Edu, I think he's the guy that runs the recruitment at Arsenal, has spoken to Declan Rice's representatives, then they will both know where they stand in terms of money, in terms of whether he wants to go there or not. There's only one reason to release that information into public domain. That's propaganda. That's information for the fans. I don't know which sets of fans. However, to release that information that Arsenal have bid 70 million, which is a derisory figure, we'll get to that in a second. To release that information off the back of, well, before a European semi-final, I think it's just poor form. Really, really poor form. I do not like it. I absolutely hate it. Why would they do that? Why would they release that information on the Tuesday when West Ham have got a European semi-final on the Thursday? They know it's going to be upsetting. They just chose to do it anyway. And at that derisory figure, I'm very, very annoyed about it, as you can probably tell. Let's deal with the figure itself, 70 million. They know they're not getting in for 70 million, so why even put it out there? Again, it's just more propaganda. They've probably got a deal with the player anyway. I don't know. Allegedly, possibly, whatever you want me to say. I'd imagine there is some form of agreement in place. So now they're just playing the game, but they're choosing to do it publicly, but it's when they're choosing to do it. 70 million ain't going to get him. They know it. And Declan Rice knows it. West Ham know it. Arsenal know it. Everybody knows it. But I've got to say, if I was running West Ham at the moment, I'd be so annoyed with the timing of it, it would make me want to play a little bit hardball here. Today's HelloFresh delivery day, which is always a good day in this house. I'm going to tell you why I love HelloFresh so much and also give you guys the opportunity to sample it for yourself at a massively discounted rate. We'll get to that in just a second. I've been using it a little while now, and to be honest with you, HelloFresh completely transformed the way I cook. Let me just explain to you how it works. You go onto their website, you pick recipes that appeal to you, and what you tell HelloFresh at the point of ordering, how many people you're cooking for. They package it all up, they send it to you, they send it to your door, they send you the method, they send you all the ingredients are all packaged up, and they tell you how to cook it. It couldn't be easier. This is what I've got in this box here. I've got the creamy double mushroom pasta. Hey, look, got to be double mushroom for me. We have the roasted duck leg with red wine jus. I've had that before, it's gorgeous. We have the ultimate cheesy lamb shepherd's pie. I'll let you decide whether I have chosen wisely. There's so many recipes on there from cuisines from all over the globe. It's absolutely amazing. What happens is though, and because this box is packed full of fresh produce. Look, they've already chopped the mushrooms for me. There's the duck legs there. On it, look, there's garlic. There's all sorts of fresh produce in there. Not even frozen peas. They're giving you the fresh stuff. But if you look at the top of each card, there's a number, 40, 29. On this one, number 35. Couldn't be made easier. If I go into here now and look, right in here, there is a bag. Bag number 35. That correlates precisely with that. I know that in there are the ingredients for the ultimate cheesy lamb shepherd's pie. It couldn't be easier. Everything's weighed out for you. Everything that you need is in there. You just follow the card on the back. It really couldn't be simpler. If I can do it, you can do it. There's two major things that I love about HelloFresh. I think the first one is that it's maybe more adventurous in my cooking, no doubt about it at all. And I will now try, even if I haven't got HelloFresh stuff here, it's made me, I guess, give me a better backlog of recipes. The other thing is I don't have waste. I'm always well intentioned. If I go and do my monthly shop, I'll buy the green beans, I'll buy the broccoli, I'll buy all the stuff with a view to thinking I'll use that. Truth of the matter is, I end up throwing half of it out. With HelloFresh, you don't have any waste at all because they only give you what you need, which is obviously really environmentally friendly, but it also saves on an awful lot of wastage. Honestly, I really wouldn't want to know how much money's worth of food I've thrown away in the past. I do far less of that now, and that's thanks to HelloFresh. Anyway, get involved. The link's in the description below to go to HelloFresh's website. Please do use the link. I know you've come from Hammers Chat. Here's your discount code. It's HF Hammers. HF Hammers. I'll put the code again in the description below. What you get for that, you get 60% off your first box. Great. I mean, the box is absolutely brimming full of stuff. And then you get a further 25% of your orders for the next 2 months. It really is a great deal. Look, if you try it out and you don't like it, you don't have to continue. It's as simple as that. You'll also, with that offer, they'll chuck you a few free gifts. I've just got a bar of chocolate. I think they know I love a bar of chocolate. I've had numerous free gifts from them over the time, and not just because we're in here promoting their video, you'll get it as well. They treat their customers really, really well. We think it's a great product. Both myself and Gio are delighted to be able to recommend to you HelloFresh. I think what Arsenal are wanting to do, Arsenal put their nose put out of joint quite significantly, really. And well, number one, I think they probably thought they were going to win the title. Now they're not. And they probably thought they were the only show in town for Declan Rice. Now it appears that's not the case. Jude Bellingham's situation has played massively into this. The situation with Jude Bellingham has meant that there's one less midfielder available, top-class midfielder. He's going to Real Madrid. So you hear that Liverpool might want him if they get their takeover to go through. Liverpool might want him. Chelsea, now that's going to be a hard one. I thought Chelsea, because they haven't got Champions League football, because that's what Declan Rice wanted, I thought the Chelsea one was going to be a hard sell. Maybe Pochettino comes in, maybe he can sell the concept. I'm talking to Declan Rice here. Whether you think he can sell the concept or not, there's certainly another team. It's not just Arsenal. Chelsea are now involved. Liverpool are now involved. Man United, I know Gio discussed it in his video recently, he did Declan Rice video. Discussed the whole McTominay thing. We'll discuss that another time. But there's definitely another club interested. Man United are definitely interested. And then you've got Manchester City entering the fray. That's a real big one. That really is a big one. I think, for them, he's done himself no harm at all, Declan. And his performances in the last... Declan's performances have been great for 2 or 3 years at least, and probably more. But he's really turned it up, I feel, in the last couple of months. I think if you were a top club wondering whether you should buy Declan Rice, you now look at him and think, we've got to get that player. I mean, he can do everything. You don't need me to tell you what Declan Rice can do. Brilliant player. Point is, I think Pep's realised it. And now he's saying, okay, maybe we need him. Pep Guardiola's going to be looking at it and looking at Arsenal and thinking they were close. He's going to know other people will be closer. He's going to know that Liverpool will be better next season, Man United will be better next season. And despite them coming through at the end and doing well and winning it, Manchester City, he's still going to know it'll be a tougher test next season. How can he improve the team? Well, ain't a lot of ways, is there? Maybe that's one of them. Gundogan's been fantastic this season. Apparently he's not going to be there next season. Don't know how true that is. But they're in the market. My point is, Arsenal know they've now not got a clear run at it. Far from it. 70 million ain't just going to cut it, so why do it? Why, never mind why bid it. Why release it out there? I've no idea. They're certainly not helping West Ham to try and think, okay, we're going to start a bidding war that'll help the Hammers. It's nothing to do with that. But if I was a West Ham now, if I was in charge of West Ham, I'd be playing hardball. Not only would I be saying, not only are we not going to sell him for 70 million, if you keep pushing like this, we're not going to sell him to you. And I think it's really important. I've said this time after time. It's really important that West Ham remember this. That whilst there is probably a gentleman's agreement with Declan Rice to sell him with 2 years left on his contract, because we basically exercised the extension for 2 years, I doubt there's a gentleman's agreement to sell him to Arsenal. When that agreement was made, that agreement was probably 18 months ago. Arsenal weren't looking like they were going to contest the title at all. It was all about Chelsea then. Very much so. By the way, let's say that Newcastle United have probably entered the fray. I think I'd just be inclined just to say to Arsenal, no. And do you know what? We're going to actively not try and sell him to you, actually. Can look and try and sell it to someone else. You've tried a low ball offer, and you've tried it at a time when, 2 days before our semi-final, and released it to the press. You're not having it. And quite frankly, at those numbers, at 70 million, what's the point? That's what I'd be saying to Arsenal. What's the point? We can keep him for another year. We'll get 50 million for him next year, even a year on his contract. And we keep a world-class player for a year. We've got a big rebuild anyway. We don't need the hassle. I think it's a little bit of time the West Ham sort of flex their muscles. I think that's an absolute Mickey take from Arsenal. I really do. Newcastle entering the fray can only be a good thing. I know that's quite tight. Obviously, Liverpool got their win against Leicester, didn't they? But you'd still sort of, at the moment, you'd probably fancy Newcastle to get top four. They'd certainly be favourites to clinch. Well, them and Man United to clinch the last two places in there. I can only hope Declan hasn't ruled it out. I can only hope that Declan hasn't said, no, that's it, I have to stay in London. If he does, then Arsenal know they're the only show in town. If they know he's not going to join Chelsea because Chelsea don't have Champions League football, and he wants to stay, lives in Cobham. Sorry, I'm pointing over there. It's over there. Not just over there. It's whatever. 25 minutes that way. But Arsenal may well be bidding from a position of strength as far as they see it. Well, actually, we know we're the only show in town. Say 70 million or nothing, or we're withdrawing our bid. And I've got to say, and I think this is really, really important, because I would be annoyed with it. If that is the situation, and Arsenal are saying that, 70 million, take it or leave it, I've got to say, as West Ham, despite the gentleman's agreement, I'll be saying to Declan, you know what, mate, you can join any number of these other clubs who are willing to at least get close to our valuation. Because let's be fair, if our valuation is 120 million, then 70 million is just a little bit more than half. It's a Mickey take, right? So I'd say to him, it's not about us letting you go. It's not about us honouring a gentleman's agreement, but they're trying to pull our pants down. And I'd be certainly very much saying to Arsenal, okay, if it's take it or leave it, thank you very much, we'll leave it.